The last non-dub thing I was directing, I kept telling the actor, I was like, hey, we can actually pause at commas. He was like, what?
And honor the punctuation? What?
And actually, after doing a ton of anime, I've gone into video game sessions, and they're like, we really need you to honor the pauses. I'm like, what pauses? And they're like, the commas and everything. I'm like, oh. Oh, I'm sorry, I thought those were suggestions. Okay. Because they are. In anime, they're like, you ignore that comma. That is purely there to let you understand the sentence structure.
Yeah.
You only pause at ellipses and two dots, which is more a comma or a breath.
All right, guys, just to make this a little bit easier, I'm going to have everyone who wants to ask a question come line up on this aisle, all right? And then I will...
Don't be shy.
So I don't have to run around the whole room. Let me keep this moving.
Look, that girl's on it.
Yeah. Don't be shy. Come on by.
Yeah. All right, this one is for Ian. Hello, nice to meet you. My name's Jace.
I love your hair.
Thank you.
So cool.
I'm Bulma today.
I noticed. You were with a bad man.
Two.
No, that's awesome.
There's a tiny one too. Our question is, were you a fan of Dragon Ball Z, the franchise, before you voiced Whis?
Oh, I've got like a 20-minute answer about what a big fan I was. So we're gonna go with yeah. Massive fan, like to the point where I just wanted to be in the background. Like when I started getting to be a Namekian in like background, like in Kai was a dream come true for me. So like all of the stuff we've been doing, I literally have had to tell myself, Ian, stop talking about how excited you are to be in it. It's been over 5 years. I still freak out about it. I get to fight my childhood heroes and be like way stronger than them. It's just so great. And I remind my friends of that. I call up Sabbath and I'm like, I'm stronger than you. I love you. We should get a curry. Bye-bye.
So yes, thank you. Find me at like my table and I'll go off for 20 minutes. We just don't have time here.
Okay, this one's for the girls. In the script, how are all the inhuman noises written? Like when a character is blushing and they make this weird high-pitched noise. How are those written into the script?
OM blush.
There's like a code, basically.
CM giggle?
Yeah, CM giggle.
There's a, I mean, it depends on where you are. Sometimes it's different. But at least at Funimation, for example, there will be like essentially what's a mouth position. So it's CM for closed mouth, OM for open mouth, CT for like clenched teeth, all this sort of stuff. And then like the emotion maybe, or like just a suggestion of what it should be. But usually...
Depending on your time coder, it might be more out there than
Yeah.
others. Sometimes it's just breath, and sometimes you get more specific, like I've gotten like fangirl or...
Yeah, about to fall off a cliff. CT about to fall off a cliff or something like that.
Austin Sisk writes really funny ones. Like
My favorite
OM
one
Youngers.
is... My favorite one that I've seen as a writer is CT shaken, not stirred.
Can you do that one?
I think it was just shaken, but the time coder had a really good sense of humor.
Yeah.
So.
Usually we'll just like look at the picture and be like, okay, we have to make a noise that matches that.
During I Know Kusabi, Y Chang, the writer, wrote like MNS triggered and MNS shook.
Seemed like OM, come on, Patrick. Oh, come on.
And can you do some of those noises now? They just
All
described.
at the same time.
All at the same time?
Yeah.
We all. What are we doing? Are we doing an OM blush?
Pick a noise.
Okay.
1, 2, 3.
You're welcome.
This is for Ian.
Okay.
What was your reaction when you were finding out that you were playing as Whis, Lord Beerus's angel?
Okay, I'm gonna give a little bit of that story that I did.
Okay, so huge fan, just wanted to be in it. I knew this stuff was coming out and there was gonna be a Xenoverse character, and he was like, man, this might be in the movies, we're kind of casting it, we gotta run it by Japan. But you know, you might be good for it. And it was between me and a couple other people, and I was like, oh, I just really want this, and I got it, and I thought it was just gonna be in the video game, and that was gonna be it. And I was gonna like, okay, it was cool, but it was still in Dragon Ball, and I was freaking out about it. And so then he got to be in Battle of Gods, and I was like, oh my god. And I called my brother, and because he's the one who got me into Dragon Ball, I'm like, oh my god, I get to fight Goku and Vegeta. He's like, or I was like, oh my god, I'm in it. And he goes, did you fight Goku or Vegeta? I said, no. And he's like, well, then call me when you do. He's that kind of little brother. And then, and I thought that was going to be it. And then the next movie came out, and I was like, oh my God, I can't believe he's back. And then I called up my brother, and I said, I fought them both at the same time, and I'm so much stronger than him. And then he yelled at me for giving away a spoiler. And then I thought it was just going to be in the movies. Like, genuinely, I did, and I had to make emotional peace with the fact that it's just going to be in the movies. It was going to be a very isolated thing. And then he's in the show, and I thought it was just going to be the first 12 episodes, and I kind of had to emotionally hold myself in. I'm still freaking out about it. And like, so what I'm about to say, I know nothing. They have told me nothing. I heard an internet rumor the other day, which is an internet rumor. So again, I don't know if this is true, that there might be more super coming. And right, that's a thing. I am currently in the position of praying that Weiss is in it.
Yes.
So I'm just like, please bring him back, please. Because I love being him, and it's a joyous thing. And I freaked out, and I lost it. And I called my mom, and she was just like, well, that's nice. Is that a big deal for you? And I had to explain that to her. But yeah, dude, this is me trying to be quick about this. It's the job. Oh my God, it's the best thing ever, dude. I have Weiss autographs everywhere. I'm gonna go to this place in Houston that my friend told me about. That's an skate park where you tag stuff, and I've already planned to do the little Weiss symbol in giant black. Like, I love Weiss so much. It is one of my favorite things that I've ever done, and is, in a weird way, I look at it and I'm like, this is my future, this is my legacy, and it's an honor beyond anything. So that's my Monster Energy speed answer.
Thank you.
For all of you, what's the favorite role you've ever voiced?
Well, this is like asking us to pick favorite children, but I'll cheat and give you two of my favorites. Malim Nava, from that time I got reincarnated as a slime, and Tama, who is a magical dog girl in Magical Girl Raising Project. So,
Weiss, because I love Dragon Ball, but Space Dandy, because he's Space Dandy.
My favorite character to play is probably Yahiko in Maros Mononoke, because he's a little shithead. But my favorite experience being in was probably Rico in Maiden Abyss.
Probably Hiro and Darling in the Franxx, just because that show, we tried to make all the performances really grounded and really special, and I got to be in every episode, so there was a lot of that for me. I don't know, I also like Inasa and My Hero a lot. He just hurts my voice, but I feel like that show will go on for another decade, and I'll show up periodically, so I better get used to it, I guess.
Mine has to be Takato from Digimon, because it was my first job ever.
Was it really your first?
Yeah.
Dude, it was so good.
Thank you. Yeah, I was terrified. I didn't know what I was doing, so glad it worked out.
I go and say to Matt sometimes when we're hanging out, I just go, Guillemon bread, Guillemon bread.
Hello.
Hi.
I have a question for everyone. Now, have you guys ever thought about working on a project all together? And if so, which one would you like to be in together?
All of them. We would all love to be in all the projects.
Every show there is.
Every anime, huh?
anything that pays. I feel like most of us have worked, maybe not all at the same time, but most of us have worked with each other at some point in time, at some.
If we could pick what we get to be in, then totally.
We don't get to pick.
It could be anything.
Let's all be in Dragon Ball.
Let's all be in Dragon Ball. That sounds
It's
good.
not as special for you, Ian. No, I'm kidding.
We're gonna do a sequel of My Hero. It's Your Hero Academia, and we're the new class. And Shoji's in both.
Thank you.
Okay, this question is for Brian Beacock.
Yes, sir.
So Durarara, it was like my favorite anime ever. I really love that anime.
Thank you.
And I know you play Walker.
I do. I
And
did.
I want to know, do you identify with Walker in any ways, like whether being as any otaku tendencies or engrossed in fantasy, or just anything that the character is?
I think I identify with Walker in that I don't often have my eyes open. Yeah, no, I guess I was more of a Walker type when I was younger, 5 years ago. No. But yeah, I don't think I really identify with him that much, although I always wished that I did, because I thought it was really cool. I thought the world that he lived in was pretty awesome. It's so funny. I'm glad you liked that show. It was really one of my favorites, and mainly my favorite because of the music in the show, which is the most hippest, hottest fusion jazz that you've ever heard in your life. But thank you. I love him too. I appreciate that.
And can I have a second part?
Get back in line.
We may get through the whole line.
Get back in line.
Okay, this question is for Ian. But first, before I start the question, hi, Space Dandy.
Hey, baby, how you doing?
So, referring to what I said, what was your favorite part about working on Space Dandy?
Working on a project that everybody was truly giving their all. I mean, it's not that we don't do that for everything. I've just never seen a group of people so terrified that something needs to be perfect. So that was really cool. I'll say the episode where I got to be like 8 different dandies, but they all needed to sound the same. That was like actor crack, so that was pretty great. I'm a big Bebop fan, so like just to be a part of that was incredible. I'm just lucky. I lucked out.
Outlaw Star Forever.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
All right, so I am an aspiring actor myself, and I was just wondering, how old were you when you decided that this is what you wanted to do with your life?
I was 28.
Oh.
I was a late bloomer. It's never too late. That's kind of like the theme of that.
I don't know. I just did. I wanted to be an actor since high school or something like that. But I had a lot of ideas, and funny enough, when anybody ever brings up the like, when did you come up with your like your desire to be in it? When did the dream start? Because you can never give up on the dream. I came up with that dream when I was 15, and I don't listen to 15-year-olds about life advice. So I'm not that hard on myself for changing and like modifying what I want to the current day. So I'm gonna say that to be what I currently am, no, I just ended up being this.
There's like several stages to it, but when I was like 16 was when I was like, wow, this is a really cool thing. I should do this with my life. And then when I got my first anime role when I was around 20, I was like, wow, yeah, I'm definitely gonna do this with my life. I got paid, awesome. And then when I was 21, I did my first directing job, and I was like, no, I wanna do this too. And yeah, so several stages of that.
Yeah, I mean, several stages as well, but I remember, it seems stupid now, but when I was 15 being like, yeah, I'm gonna do voiceover. That's what I wanna do, like specifically, and now I'm like, I just act in anything. Like, it's fine, it doesn't have to specifically be voiceover. I'll do script writing and engineering and all this stuff, but like, yeah, when I was 15, I'm 26 now, so 11 years.
Yeah, mine was...
Sorry. Yeah, because you just told me a minute ago. I forget my age a lot, sorry. That's why.
I was singing and playing piano and stuff at 7, so I kind of knew early on. But, and then I realized that I have no other skill, so it really does kind of like lock you into, oh, I guess I can only be an actor.
Right?
Great.
That's a big factor.
It just hits a point where you're like, oh, this is what it is.
Right.
I don't know what else I would do.
Can't type.
Like when you hear the phrase, if you can do anything else, go do it. No, that is not the like being charming thing. It's like, no, at some points you realize, oh, this is all I know now.
Yes.
God, I hope people want me to talk into mics like 20 years from now.
Yeah.
Apparently I've wanted to since I was 3.
Oh,
There you go.
Got a good voice. Hello.
So this is directed at, I guess, anyone who has like advice, but how would you recommend going about like starting a career in the voice acting industry and like getting yourself out there?
Get a foundation in acting first and foremost. A lot of people are like, I want to be a voice actor. I do silly voices. Here's my Family Guy impersonation reel. Also my Todd Haberkorn impression. And it's like, that doesn't do anything. So like take as many acting classes as you can in all sorts of different types. There's a lot of people who go into it and they're like, I'm going to be an anime voice actor. And like, that's not where you make money. You can make like rent for an entire year from a good commercial job. An anime job can pay your rent if it's like a really good one, maybe for like
If you're like
months,
the,
if you're like
if you're the lead while you're recording it, your rent may be taken care of.
Yeah. So just be aware of that. Yeah. So take classes, and also voice acting in particular, I feel like there's a lot to invest in that people don't realize. Because if you're going to set yourself up to record at home, you need to set up like equipment. You need to invest in good equipment and good soundproofing. And then when it comes to building your acting foundation, you need to take classes of all different types, and those classes can run from a few $100s to a few $1,000s depending. And then getting your demo reel done professionally also can cost you a lot of money.
If you're in school, take advantage of any free opportunity. Well, free, you're paying for school, but
like
any
theater.
opportunities you can. Acting classes,
Yeah.
theater, improv.
Yeah, and there's like a lot of resume building things you can do while you're in school. Like there's all sorts of opportunities for you to take advantage of.
Doing theater and other kind of acting not only will teach you to be a better actor, but it is probably one of the better back doors into getting into this industry. There are a handful, more than a handful, of people who have become Funimation actors because they were known as good actors first, and then a director is like Caitlin, for instance, brings in people from the Dallas theater community all the time. And she's doing Fruits Basket and Radiant and all these other ones and Free and all that. So there are ways, and that is a good way to do it, is to just, be a big name actor first and then go from there. That's the easy way. That's weirdly, but it will give you the connections. The connections that I made to get me my job was from theater. So I as a theater major, I suggest theater. Oh, and if you're a theater major, move on to a marketing major and then take acting classes. You'll make more money in the long run.
P.S. I have a marketing degree. So what he said, it does help market me. Just to piggyback off what they've already told you is I was someone who did theater in high school and never touched it again for 10 years until I was 28 years old, and I did auditions for Funimation. And my theater experience was enough to make me stand out in my audition and get called back for Walla, but to get, and Walla's background voices, by the way, to get an actual named role, I realized about a year and a half into it that I didn't have the experience and knowledge that a lot of the other actors did that were treating this as a career. And I was not treating it as a career. I was treating it as, this is a fun thing to do. So I hired a private acting coach and worked with a private acting coach every week for 6 months. I took improv classes. I did an improv show. I flew to LA. I took a workshop with Tony Oliver. I've taken film and television workshops, intensives with Steven Anderson. I have spent so much time and money to be a better actor because I was not prepared when I started. And when I treated it like a career and not like, this would be fun, that is when I got my first named role. It was 6 months after working with an acting coach. So absolutely what they said. Like, sometimes you get one opportunity, make sure it's the best opportunity you can make for yourself. Don't waste it.
Here's something Kristen said too. She has a business marketing
Yes.
degree. That's another thing. The world that we live in right now is social media, is marketing, is business management. So you could be the best actor in the world, but if no one knows that you're out there, what are you going to do? So learn how to treat your career as a business, and learn how to successfully market yourself and promote yourself in the best possible way. So when it's time to put yourself out there, you know how to do it.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys have experienced this at all in auditions, but when I was auditioning in New York, there were some times when you would fill out the sheet that you came for your audition, and it would ask for your social media and your follower count.
Yeah, that's where we are now. That's how they cast a lot in Los
Unfortunate,
Angeles.
but
Now that I've been given roles because of my social media, and I'm barely on.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So this one's for the Soul King himself. How was recording Bink Saki for the first time?
Terrifying. Do you know how scary it is to sing a song, knowing, by the way, that they won't pitch correct it, which I begged them. I'm like, come on, man, auto-tune me. I'm not that good. And then having everybody say, don't screw up the song. Because they had listened to Brooke for years before I did it, and they were like, yeah, this is perfect. So it was really, really, really terrifying. I sang it way too much to just get it in my soul. And now it's kind of the point where if I'm really happy and I want to hum something, I will hum that. It does make me happy. It's a lot of fun, but it's scary, man. And I mean, I don't know if some actors can come and be like, yeah, I just recorded for a thing that's going to be heard by millions of people.
Patrick Warburton, yeah.
Like, yeah, it's always Patrick, man. But no, it scared the crap out of me, man. Like, that's scary stuff. I never claimed to be a singer. They just keep hiring for me. I don't know why. They just keep saying, yeah, you can sing, right? And I'm like, okay.
I watch Show by Rock. You can see.
I don't. Well, that's very. See, that's another one. I was like, okay, sure, I can sing. Then they keep making me sing.
I mean, that's what you get for becoming a singing skeleton.
I'm just happy to be Brooke. Brooke is awesome. He's my happy place. I drink an 8-ounce glass of espresso before doing it every time, and the director says I look like I'm having a mental breakdown. And then I crash. I have 4-hour sessions because that's as long as I can do it for. Yeah. Thank you, though.
Ian, does that character have flaps?
Yes, he does. He has big, but since they're just giant teeth flaps, there's a little bit of wiggle room for consonants and stuff like that. But since he's just eye sockets and teeth, everything's got to kind of come out like that. Huh?
Because singing in an ADR environment's hard too, right?
Singing, well, the weird thing about anime singing is you've got to remember you can't sing like you would sing, because that's not what you're doing. You're singing as your character would. So Space Dandy, I knew I could be a little bad, because no one said he was a great singer. But then they said, Soul King, he's just this amazing singer. And I'm like, bro. Was that on key? Was that on key? Does anybody know if I hit that note right? You're fine. Am I?
That's the nice thing about like Dawn now doing a lot of the songs, because she's got a lot of like experience with that and has.
I didn't have
pitch
Dawn.
and stuff.
Yeah, Dawn, but Brina also has perfect pitch, and
She does a lot of it too.
she was the one I did it with. And Brina's the kind of friend that if you walk in and you're like, man, I don't know about this hat I bought. It's kind of silly looking, but I love it. She'd be like, so what's with the dumb hat? She's that friend, so when she is like super nice about, no, that was really good, and it was on key and everything, you're like, thank you. Okay, I should believe that. She wasn't a jerk about it. Okay. Brina is lovely, so you know that's just how she friends. I actually, as a director, had to start complimenting myself, because if I would be like, that was a really good line you did, she'd be like, you're stupid, shut up. And I'm like, no, it was really good. She's like, whatever, shut up. So then I just started being like, you are lucky you have me as a director. Man, I'm good. And then she'd be like, thank you.
So this is for all of you, for all the characters that you have voice acted, or from a small group of them, which one do you think represents you all the most?
Oh. I guess for me it would be Tatami Nakagame from My Hero Academia. Colleen Carroll, the director, came to me and she was like, hey, I cast you in My Hero. And I was like, oh, I'm super excited. And she's like, you're gonna love it. This character, she just reminds me of you. And I'm like, oh God, I hope she doesn't like pick her nose or something. I'm like, what does this mean? You know, I was like really nervous. I was like, am I gonna get in there and she's gonna like be really weird? And then I got in there and she's all like, can I get your autograph? And I was like, oh, she's a fangirl. I was like, I get it. Like, that makes sense. Because I am a legitimate fan of anime. So I feel like Tatami's like fangirlness probably represents me the most. And she's pretty friendly and she's like excited and she wants to support other people even if they're on an opposite side. And I really like that about her. And maybe I don't know if that's into myself to be like, and I feel like I'm like that, but I do connect with her on that level. So that would be my answer.
No longer really spend a lot of time crafting our characters beforehand, so you generally go into archetypes and you figure out kind of, oh, this guy is angry, this guy is whatever. And so from that, I extrapolate truths from myself, and so like this is the pervy a-hole that I'd never let out. This is the foodie who's just snarky. This is the thing. And so they're all small facets of my personality, so I don't usually have one. I don't know, Dandy though.
I feel like probably Rico from Maiden Abyss, because she just has like endless enthusiasm and like motivation to do things, and like is like kind of a nerd about a whole bunch of stuff. But when I'm feeling particularly shitty to my friends, it's probably Yahiko from Mononokean, who is like a total shithead. But yeah, there's like things I say as that character, and I'm like, yeah,
I said this on our panel earlier, but it's really hard to pick a character that you kind of relate to, because like what Ian said, all the characters are at least a part of you. You bring a part of yourself to every character, and I tend to just relate to the ones that I get to spend the most time with, so that ends up being like when I'm a lead or something, and it's like I don't really relate to Hiro from Frank's because I have a family and I am not like a military boy and I don't pilot a robot or anything like that, but I live that character so much that I feel like I relate to him a ton, so I guess him, but otherwise your generic high school character, I don't know, like, just like a normal person maybe is the most relatable personally. But.
That's probably a combination. I mean, when I was doing Takato, I wanted to be like Takato, but me as a person, as a voice actor, I was not, I was not kind of cool and kind of brave or whatever. So now I'm kind of like, I'm Shima from Blue Exorcist because I'm scared of bugs, and Octagawa because I have a chest cold, and Pokemon from Digimon because I sometimes keep a book in my pants, but that's a whole nother story.
It's true. Awesome.
Thank you.
All right. So sort of continuing the theme of questions being asked to all of you, I was just wondering, sort of, what is the working relationship between the voice actor and the writer/translator? Like, is it like is it sort of like these are people you know and work alongside, or is it more like you are delivered scripts from these mysterious goblins sort of
It
deal?
depends. Because when I was working on that time I got reincarnated as a slime, I'd be like, Kristen made a great joke here. She's so funny. And or the show I'm working on right now, my lead actor is Aaron Dismuke and my writer is Aaron Dismuke. And he comes in the booth, I'm like, what is this? What did you write here? What were you thinking? Or he writes me funny notes in the sidelines and I laugh and I'm like, he's my friend. And then other times you get a script from someone, you have no idea who they are and how the script came into being, and I'm like, I can't even contact this person.
Is this person real? Is this a real name they're using? I have no idea.
So it could be all over the place.
So, for a bit of context, all of our the answer you gave and a lot of the answers we'll give right now are for the last 2 years. Mm-hmm. Before that, the writers were just names that you saw. In fact, some of them were not even the people's real names, and you just kind of heard about it. And the directors would give notes, or they wouldn't, and there were all these go-in-betweens, and it was a more complicated process than it is now. And there was a lead writer, which is why you'll see the name John Bergmeyer as the lead writer on everything. He wasn't. No, he didn't.
He's the head writer.
He was the head writer.
He's the head writer.
But he did not actually write most of the things that he's credited.
No,
he assigned us.
Because he was
He was more of like our manager and scheduler and made sure that like we knew when to turn things in and things like that. That was his job.
And that's what it was. There was, guy dissemination from there. Now it's an in-house group of very set. How many of you?
There are 10 of us, including the supervisors.
And so now the directors can literally, just like she said, the hell, bro? That didn't work. Whereas that didn't used to be a thing. You'd have to send it away. Past that, we actors only deal with directors and engineers. That's it. You walk in, you see the director, you see the engineer, and you go home. You might bump into other actors and go, oh, hey, we gotta do something sometime. And then you say that again every single time. That's it.
Yeah, I do have something to add because I am a full-time scriptwriter for Funimation, and I've been a scriptwriter since 2015. Once upon a time, we were contractors, which meant we worked from home, and we didn't have to see or talk to the directors unless we chose to. Because I was also an actor, I would often contact the directors of the shows I was writing and encourage them. I'm like, if you have any problems, if you have timing issues in the booth, if you have term things you want me to know, please let me know. My goal is to make it so that you have to do as little rewrites as possible in the booth. I'm a perfectionist, unfortunately, because that makes my job really hard for myself. But not all writers are like that. Some of the writers were in LA or in different parts of the country, and so they don't have that already built-in relationship. Now that we are full-time in-house, what that means is that we have offices inside Funimation, and that if a director has an issue, they can either come and see us personally and talk to us. We typically have a meeting with the director before the show starts, and we talk about things like, how do you feel about slang? Would you prefer we stay closer to the trans? With Clifford Chapin, and that time I got reincarnated as a slime, we set the boundaries of like Rimuru, who is the main character, can use slang because he's from modern day Earth, but the other characters cannot because they wouldn't know what chill out means, because it's probably not used in that world, or they wouldn't say things like word. So it's established with the director, and different directors have different preferences. I've worked with directors who prefer to keep a timeless feel to their scripts, so they will ask that I don't use any modern day slang, because what is cool and hip now won't be cool and hip, nobody says that anymore, in 8 years. So there is communication, and especially now with the way the model is set up, it encourages communication. And I think it has improved the process for the most part, for the quality of the scripts, the working relationship with directors and writers, as opposed to where once upon a time it was just a mysterious question mark person outline sending in a script from afar.
And sometimes I still get a script like that when there's someone filling in who's like never done it before, and I'm like, who is this person, and why did they write Zach from Angels of Death like this?
And this is all, like, a lot of this, the full-time writer stuff is Funimation specific.
Yeah.
A lot of studios just have contract writers who may or may not live anywhere near them. They may not have any contact with them other than via email.
That's LA.
For sure. So that's more typical in a lot of other studios, specifically in LA. There's other studios, I'm sure most studios in the Dallas, Houston area are like that too. And I think at 4K for Yu-Gi-Oh! They had in-house writers, but I never saw them, but that doesn't mean they weren't there. They probably worked there full time, like whatever.
There's a lot of different people I think that write for like NYAV.
Right. So, but generally the process is, and this is also different. There's a person who will make a script like with the timing and everything labeled out, but won't actually adapt to the script. And then there's the script adapter, which is what Kristen is a full-time script adapter. I do periodically. I fill in at Funimation sometimes when they need someone. And sometimes those two positions are combined, but that gets handed in to whoever. Maybe there's someone who goes over it and checks it over, and then that's handed to the director. And then the director, the engineer, and the actor in the booth, or in the studio together, the actors in the booth, and they work on it then. So there's not a whole lot of communication that goes on between a writer and most of the other aspects of production, but there can be if they're right down the hall.
Right.
Yeah.
I do have, my time coders will come to me and be like, what's the deal with this named character in Slime? Do their names change or things like that? So like, it depends too on the time coder and the person. It all comes down to your working relationship with people and whether or not they feel comfortable communicating with you. So.
And as for the translations, there's like, for a very long time, until like my most recent show, it was just a translation from Crunchyroll that we had no trace to who might have had done it. And then recently, there's been more in-house translations. So like, I know the person translating Murose Mononoke, and like we've had email exchanges about how things are translated, or how terms are translated, or how this is translated compared to how the manga translated it, and how these terms work and stuff like that. So that's been cool lately, being able to converse with the translator and like figure out what we're doing together to make a cohesive project, versus like when Legend of the Galactic Heroes was happening, Crunchyroll gave us a translation and I'd get it and be like, that's not the right words. They're not an army, they're a navy. Why did you do that? So, yeah.
All right. Thank you for such thorough answering.
Sorry, I hope you didn't fall asleep. That was a long answer.
I thought it was thrilling.
Kristen and I have an anime script rating thing like tomorrow?
Yeah, tomorrow. So if you want to know more about
Come to
it,
that.
we can give you an even longer answer.
I don't know where or when it is, but it's tomorrow.
It's tomorrow. Yes.
So this question is for Ian. So first of all, Romano is like one of my all-time favorite characters on Hetalia. So how do you find yourself in positions of like searching characters? Like how do you find yourself voicing that particular character, like Romano or?
Like how do I come up with the voice? I steal from somebody else.
Every voice I got is some sort of derivative of something else, but that's just kind of me being honest about the actor process. Every voice that you guys are doing, no matter even if you think it's, whoa, this is my head voice, that's because at some point you thought somebody sounded a certain way that sounded cool, and you were like, well, this is how I sound now, a subconscious thing. Yeah, again, how do I come up with the voices? I kind of hear the vocal timbre and little intricacies of what the Japanese are doing. Are they scratchy? Are they doing that? And then I kind of just Americanize it. Then a lot of times, subconsciously, I will add in, I will use people as bass lines. My bard in Black Butler is actually Sergeant Price from Call of Duty, and I didn't know that for years. Like literally, I did that voice for years, and then when a new Call of Duty came out, and I heard him again, and I went, "That's where I got it. That's Sergeant Price. Yeah, it's the same sort of go over there." So it's the same thing. That's where it comes from. And so Romano, you ever watch MasterChef?
Kind of know about it.
Anybody know Luca from MasterChef? Luca, yeah, that's basically the same thing. He was like, "I don't know why you guys are stressing about it. It's a cooking competition. Why is there so much drama?" And so I took that and I added a little bit of this and I made him a complete jerk, and it's Romano. But thank you. Thank you for liking Romano. Nobody likes Romano. I mean, everybody likes Romano except for Romano. He's got daddy issues.
Okay, thanks.
He's back.
You made it back.
You made it back.
All right, guys, just so you know, the official details for the script writing panel will be tomorrow from 1 to 2 p.m. In the Liberal Arts Basement, A205.
Thank you.
Yeah.
In the basement.
I have been waiting.
Okay, my question is for all five of you. So, like when I watch anime, like I consider it a deep medium. Like I like to analyze it based on like psychological, philosophical, cultural themes, or like themes of morality. And I want to know, like, for you, what's the one aspect of anime which you like the most like in-depth aspect of it, in your opinion, which you enjoy the most when watching it?
First of all, I love that you called it a medium, because that's what it is. It's not a genre. There can be such good anime and such terrible anime, and so many different types in it, so thanks for that.
But what do we like most about it?
So before I was a voice actor, I was a comic book artist. I mean, I still draw comics, but not as much because I write full time. But I've always been drawn to the anime medium as well, and it is, for me, it is because I've always felt like American comics were very specific, and that has changed over the years. But as a teenager, when I was 15, like that was not the case. And for me, what attracted me to anime was that anime can be about literally anything. Anything at all. It can be about a girl learning to cook. It can be about like a guy that gets shanked and turns into a slime. Like, it can be about anything. And to me, that's my favorite part. There are no limits. If you can think it up, it can be an anime. And I think that is amazing. It's like the ultimate improv. Like, it's just, no matter what, it can be the craziest thing ever. Hey, this guy's a hot spring now. Yes. Like, I love it. And for me, that's always what has driven me and what has attracted me to anime is like, girls can be the heroes. They can be heroes and wear cute, like, uniforms and skirts and defeat people with the power of friendship. Like, I think that's awesome. Like, so for me, that's what's drawn me to anime.
I like shows with boom boom and shooty and blasty and all that kind of crap because I like comic books, and I just was like, as a kid, there was X-Men and Batman shows that like I had loved and was obsessed about, and there was nothing else that like felt like that until I saw this Dragon Ball thing with crazy people with glowing hair screaming at each other, and I was like, this is awesome. And the only thing that could ever scratch that kind of like a comic book on screen was anime, and so that's why I got into it.
In college, I did a thesis. My history major honors thesis was a 70-page paper about anime. And it was like an in-depth exploration of like really depressing themes about like disaster, identity, and invasion of the other in Japanese media. So like I did a lot of in-depth like research and analysis of a handful of shows, and I really liked doing that. I thought that was really cool. And fast forward a few years, the first time I considered using my history degree since getting it was when I worked on Galactic Heroes, because it's like such a historical fiction show. And like I went hard in the research for that. Like, I mean, you could ask Ian, but like I had gotten the novel, and I have like so many post-its in it, highlights and notes and circles and things in the sideline. Like, I would write up, like, I co-directed it with Clifford Chapin, and I would write up things for every single character and every episode we were working on and send it to him. I would make pronunciation. I would do all sorts of research, and it was like, I loved that. I loved being able to get material that I could really dig into, and I think the themes in Legend of the Galactic Heroes are really, really interesting, and the different character dynamics and stuff like that. The politics of it, of its own world. So that was like my favorite thing to dive into, and I love media like that I can really break down and figure out. So, yeah.
I guess the animation, specifically when the animation is really detailed and when things are done with animation that is impossible with like a camera, just a camera angle that's just impossible because it's too close, or it's like flying through the sky in all these wacky different ways, and I'm just impressed with that, I guess. And then the storytelling is great, but you can have a good story in most any medium, but I guess as a kid, when I first started watching any anime, it was like, those were the stories that had those were the shows that had captivating stories that I really cared about, instead of like, this is funny. It's like, oh no, I'm crying at the end of Digimon Tamers. And I'm like embarrassed for my family to come in the room and see me crying over this show.
And mine is less about like the themes and the stories within the anime as much as it is the impression of how this imaginary world has created this real world. We're all sitting here right now. How anime has created the cons and the cosplay and the people and this appreciation for art, and I think that's fascinating that it's been such a huge impact on our lives right now from this cartoon, as the basis description.
All right, guys, we're down to the last few minutes here. And,
lightning round, right?
Lightning round. So you guys are gonna go quick. If people want to run up, and we're gonna try and go quick through everything. And also, if we get at one for everyone, we're gonna flip it around a little bit, and we're gonna start at Brian and go down this way. Sound good?
One word answer. Yes.
Cool.
No.
What was your favorite anime moment?
My favorite anime moment is actually the end of Digimon, where I had my last monologue and everybody, Mary Elizabeth McGlynn, everyone in the studio was crying. It was great.
And me at home on my couch. I don't know, probably anything in Frank's, because I'm just proud of the acting in that.
I don't know. I can't think of something off the top of my head.
That's so hard. Majin Vegeta was real good. Right? That's such a good moment.
Mine was the end of Wolf Children when the mom yells to her son. She's like, "But I haven't taught you enough yet." That was mine. So because I'm a mom, so that brings it true to me.
Thank you very much.
Hello. This one's for everyone. Do you generally prefer voicing heroes or villains?
Villains.
Villains.
I haven't gotten to play enough villains.
Yeah, so I guess I'll say villains, but I like playing heroes too. I just rolled the R because I play a character named Hiro. That's terrible.
I haven't played a villain, but it would be fun.
Thank you.
Hi. When you get to create a character, how do you go about finding their voice?
Listen to the Japanese.
Start talking and the director says higher, lower, deeper.
Yeah, use that one. That's how it happens. You just do what's in your arsenal, and they'll listen to you and go, yeah, higher, lower, younger, older, fatter.
Do you use the script to help you make some of those decisions in the beginning?
The picture more than the script.
Yeah, you use that for your first stab at it, but like they said, really honestly, one of the best and most important things to know as an actor is your job is not to make great art, your job is to make that director happy. It really is, because you got to get, after a while you'll be given a nice part that you get to make great art, but for the majority of your career, it's about making directors happy.
Question for Ian. Hi. What was it like to voice Beacock?
It was great.
It's very emotionally fulfilling and cathartic, and I screamed a lot, and everybody wondered if I was actually okay or going through a mental breakdown. Wow, that's a theme. Thank you.
Can you scream Uncle? Oh no! Thank you.
My pleasure.
Hi. Oh my God, I'm so nervous. I'm
Aw,
sorry.
come on.
Don't be nervous. I was wondering, is there anything, like, you guys are doing writing, everything, like acting and everything, but is there anything that you've ever, not worked on that you've always dreamed of working on?
Like a property or a type of
Like
type of writing versus
like any kind of like show or anything you've just dreamed of working on?
I would
Hunter
love
x
to
Hunter.
record in a JRPG. I think that would be a lot of fun.
Hunter x Hunter is my favorite show, and Detective Hitman Reborn is one of my favorite shows from high school. So both of those things have always been like, I love those things. I would love to do something involving them one day. And then personal goal to play a Maria Issei character because I think she's freaking incredible.
I haven't done enough games. I've only done like kind of indie or low budget games that are recording in strange places. So games, more games.
I want to be a dead body on Criminal Minds. Right? Just lay there. Nice gig. Cash your check. Go home.
All right, thank you.
Hi. So my question is, for those of you who worked on the dub for My Hero Academia, what were some of your thoughts on that, like working on that show?
I am convinced that in about a season or so, Shoji's gonna pull down his mask and be just like freaking gorgeous, and like that he's just been cool about it this whole time, because he's that kind of way. He has literally carried that team on his back multiple times, and that's all I'm gonna say.
I was just really happy because I didn't come in until season 3, so I was just really happy. I'm like, yay! I'm in the club.
I thought I had no chance at booking the character I booked, but I read for him anyway, and so I just screamed as hard as I could because he seemed like a guy who screamed a lot. And then the director got back to me and was like, "Can you scream like that but lower pitched?" And I was like, "Yeah, yeah, I guess I can." And I mean, so I don't know, but it thrashes my voice, but I love him, so it's fun.
Screaming is so much of his character, though.
It is almost all of it.
Thank you.
Highest budget and lowest budget things that you've done?
The highest budget thing I've done was a video game that has not come out yet. And the lowest budget thing I did was a phone tree commercial. Or it's not a phone tree commercial, it's like, "Hi, thank you for calling Secure Tech. Press 1 for information." So, how's that?
They don't tell us the budget. I don't know. Street Fighter?
Oh, I'm just going off like what I got paid. I don't know what the budget was.
Oh. Commercials.
Yeah, I was gonna say commercial.
Commercials. Have 15 minutes worth of work, more than getting 5, 6, 10 leads. I'm not even kidding. Like,
Yeah, commercials, highest paying, lowest paying is probably like weird indie games I've done when I was younger.
Yeah.
Student projects.
Lowest paying, once I booked something on, I think it was voice123.com when I was in college, and it was like, it's on my IMDb for some reason. It's like dying detective, and I just auditioned, and they're like, "Cool, we're gonna use your audition file, here's $5 whole." I was like, wow! I was like so happy because it's the first time I got paid for something like that. I don't know, that was a published thing, but yeah.
Yeah, I have no idea. They're all low.
Thank you.
I don't use one voice in college.
All right. I think that's all the time we have for questions. We're gonna do one last lightning round one.
Oh.
One word answer from all of you.
Okay.
Marvel or DC?
Marvel.
Marvel.
Marvel, because we like character development and story.
I like Batgirl.
And shows canceled on
No,
Netflix.
the whole Batman group, it doesn't count.
Yeah.
Like, they're awesome.
Yeah, I like Batgirl.
They're DC plus.
DC plus.
There you go.
Matt and Brian?
Oh, I said Marvel.
Oh!
Is that the right answer?
Yes.
Okay.
If not, we can change it. Just kidding. It's definitely Marvel.
All right.
Thanks for coming, guys.
Thanks, guys. Give everyone a big hand.